I'm a licensed. So, good morning. My name is Sam Sidin Ademola Kazim. I'm a licensed Canadian immigration consultant based in Calgary, Alberta. So, I'm an active member of the College of Immigration in Canada and actively practicing immigration in Canada. So, I'm able to discuss immigration matter uh, with my audience and give the right advice. So before going to this section, I would like to put a disclaimer out there. Do not take this as a legal advice. So if you need a legal advice or representation, so you need to book a formal consultation with our company. And after the consultation, we can take your matter up. So it's a pleasure meeting you today. And it is 8 o'clock right in Calgary, Alberta. The snow day. We've got some heavy snow this last night to this morning. So and thank you for joining. So I'm going to be focusing strictly. This section is going to focus strictly on people that are already in Canada. Already in Canada that want to change their status. So, hence the topic: how can I change my status in Canada? So hence the topic, how can I change my status in Canada? Because I know most of our audience are based in Canada here, because this is jointly organized with a church in Toronto. So just because of the current situation we are facing in Canada, a lot of people coming to Canada without having a plan, concrete plan. A lot of people are coming to Canada with no plan and how they can do things here legally. So hence this important burning topic. So recently, a Nigerian government official came to Canada and visited some Nigerians that were staying in shelter. Some of them seek asylum. So, and some of them probably came to the country with visitor visa, or some of them probably seek asylum. So, at the end of the day, um, one Nigerian died in that situation by sleeping out in the cold. This time of the year is extremely cold in Canada, extremely cold. So this guy died, and of course, a lot of things start happening that the city is not providing enough for the homeless, the government is not supporting people that are seeking refuge, and all those things. But sometimes, all these things, we don't need to put blame on government. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Um, there's limit to what the government can do. Hence, you as the person need to seek legal advice at every phase of your journey. Or if you don't want to seek legal advice, you can go to the official government website of Canada, which is www.cic.gc.ca, and look at the relevant program that suits you and plan accordingly. And plan what? Accordingly. So it's very important. There's nothing we want to do in this life that doesn't start with a plan. And that plan must be what? Executable. And that plan must lead to a positive result. So that is how to do things. But if you come into Canada and you don't have plan, I'll be honest with you, it's tough. And not only Canada, if you are traveling to anywhere in the world without a plan, it's going to be tough. Even in your home country, for example, Nigeria, when you wake up in the morning without the plan, it's going to be tough. How much more when you travel abroad? So hence, we need to be very focus minded. We need to have a goal. in order to achieve success. So I'm going to quickly jump into my topic. So as I've mentioned earlier, so my name is Samsudin Kazim, and RCIC duly licensed, and my membership number with the college is R535675. So how can I change my status in Canada? There is various ways you can change your status in Canada. This could be based on public policy recently announced by government. You can use public policy to change status. And one of those public policy is you come in as a visitor to Canada and you have to change, you have to look for a job. You get a job, you can then change to a worker. This is special public policy. That was not existing before. So this public policy came into effect through, I think 2021, but it has been extended to 2025 February because it was meant to end February 2023, but government extended it again to February 2023. That's because it's a special public policy. That's what allows a visitor to look for job inside Canada and transition to worker. So I'm going to take it one by one. The other option is you come in as a student. After finishing your program, you have the opportunity of working in Canada, and from working, you can now transition to permanent residency if you meet the requirement. Again, everything is you meeting requirements. The third option is you come in as a worker. Then, after working in Canada for some time, you also apply for permanent residency if your work permit permits that. Again, you have to meet the requirements of the law. So, or you are in Canada, somebody decides to sponsor you. For example, you are married to somebody and that person wants to sponsor you. So that's you getting permanent residence. You are married to a Canadian or to a PR and you are inside Canada. So they decide to do in Canada sponsorship, spouse sponsorship for you. So that is, again, I said the word married. Married. So somebody that's a Canadian permanent resident or Canadian and you are inside Canada, of course, you can also change your status to permanent residence. So these are the few steps that can be taken to change your status in Canada. So every program I've just mentioned is temporary, from visitor to worker, from worker to permanent residency. So it means we are transitioning from a temporary residence holder to a permanent residency holder. Student is temporary. Temporary means you are just here for a specific time duration, very specific. So it means you need to prove to the officer that I'm going to come in to Canada and I will also leave Canada. So that is what that means. So temporary means you're going to be in this country for a short time, then you will move back to your home country. As at the time you're applying, you need to prove that before the officer. So let me start with the first one. The first one is visitor transitioning to worker, from there transitioning to permanent resident, or visitor transitioning to students, from students to worker, worker to permanent residents. So what I'm going to do, I love not just talking, but I also love writing. Is my hobby. So I'm going to share. Okay, so I'm not able to share my screen. So I would have loved to share my screen, but it's not enabled. So we just have to go on. So I'm not able to share my screen, but nonetheless, we go on. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is this. You want to transition from, you came into Canada as a visitor. You need, for you to move from a visitor to a worker, for you to move from a visitor to a worker, you need to look for a job inside Canada. you need to look for job inside Canada. And to look for job, it's either you meet the employer in person or you go online to job bank to look for job. You go online to look for job, or you talk to recruitment agency to look for job. So, or you can talk to
Sorry, you can
friends.
share your screen now, sir. Sorry, you can share your screen, sir.
Okay, Fred. Thank you, Fred. Okay, so I'm able to share my screen now. So, let's see. In terms of in a written format, what I'm saying. So I'm going to start with you coming to Canada as a visitor. So this is the first process we are looking at. So when you come into Canada as a visitor, you have two pathways to stabilize yourself. Either uh, you, you apply for a study permit inside Canada, or you try to get job. So try to get job, that's work in Canada. So I'm going to quickly talk on these two. So you come into Canada as a visitor, then you decide, oh, I have financial capacity. So I want to change to students. It's possible. So if you want to change, you want to get a study permit. So you need, first thing here, you need to get admission from a school. You get admission from a school. Once you get admission, then see, this process is two process. For you to change to study permit inside Canada is a two-way method. So the first method is you must have done what is called a prerequisite course. You must have done a prerequisite course. So you came in as a student, you quickly take a prerequisite course, and that prerequisite course must lead you to unconditional offer. Unconditional offer of acceptance from a college or a university. Unconditional offer. So you came in as a student, immediately you get a course, or you get a program, and the program says, oh, for you to be given unconditional offer, you need to do certain prerequisites. For example, let me give you an example. You came into Canada and you want to do nursing. Before you can do nursing, oh, let's assume you approach a college or a university, XYZ university. The university said, oh, before we can give you this offer as to study nursing in our program, you need to have passed anatomy and physiology. So what you need to do, so anatomy and physiology, they are prerequisite courses. So you can do this program either with that same school or with another school. Ensure that this program is not more than 12 weeks. Don't ensure it's not more than 12 weeks. You need to get the result in. Don't do more than 3 months program. So you get the anatomy and the physiology. You now go back to the school and say, yes, I now have my anatomy and physiology. The school will not give you an offer that is unconditional. So if that is the process you have, then the type of study permits you will be submitting will be inside Canada study permits, in Canada study permits. So you will use a different IMM form. So this process means you have fulfilled the requirement of R215 F subsection 3. So that's the meaning. So that means as a visitor, you came into Canada, you get admission in a school, and school said, before we can give you unconditional offer, you need to have done certain prerequisites. You finish the prerequisites within 12 weeks max. Then you go back to the school offer you give you unconditional offer. Then you can apply as in Canada study permit application because you have fulfilled the requirements of the regulation. That's one process. Let me give you another example. Let's assume you want to study accounting in a college in Canada. And the college said, oh, before we can give you offer, you need to show to us that you have English as your second language, ESL. Now, the school will ask you to go and register for an English course. So when you finish your English course, you pass, bring the result to us, we give you unconditional offer. So once you get your unconditional offer for accountancy program, then you can apply for in Canada because you have fulfilled the requirements of have studied a prerequisite. A prerequisite. And again, you need to be very careful. When you come in as a visitor, that's why I said planning is important. Planning is important. When you come into Canada as a visitor, don't stay too long before you start executing this type of project. If, for example, you stayed for like 10 or 14 weeks, for example, now, and you know in Canada as a visitor, you can't stay more than 6 months. So if you've stayed in Canada or you've been to Banff, you've been to Niagara Falls, you've been to all different places for almost 14 to 16 weeks, you've enjoyed yourself in Canada. Oh, you now realize, oh, I want to change to student or I want to start looking for work. You have limited time because you can't stay more than 6 months at a go inside Canada. So you have limited time. So that's going to be a problem. Because before you finish all this process, your time might have gone. So that's why it's important when you come in as a visitor, have a solid plan. Oh, I want to change to study. This is going to be my process. Quickly execute it. So the other option is you have admission from a school. So this is option 2. You have admission from a school. And when you have admission from a school and you've not done a prerequisite, you've not done a prerequisite. So if you've not done a prerequisite, you must apply as if you're applying from outside of Canada. If you've not done a prerequisite, you must apply for a study permit as if you are applying from outside of Canada. Means you'll be using a different application form to say you are applying from outside of Canada. So if you've not done a prerequisite and you use an in Canada form, your application will be refused automatically because you didn't meet the requirements of in Canada applicants. So my advice for you is have a plan before you embark on your journey. So that is how to transition from a visitor to a student. And you need to meet the financial requirements. You must have money to be able to transition from a visitor to a student. So you need to show proof of funds. You need to pay your tuition fee, and the government wants to see you have your living expense. So the living expense is now changed. It will change from January 1st to 20,635. So it means the government shift the goalpost from 10,000 up until these days. I'm talking to you. Living expense is 10,000 for a single person. But now they've changed it to from January 1st to now be 20,635. This is the new living expense. And if you're applying for a visa, you can't show to the government you have 20,635. They're not going to approve. You have to show more money. You have to show more money. It's just like, for example, you want to build a house. You want to build a house. For example, you want to build a house, and the project is evaluated for it to be $300,000. Okay, $300,000 is the project. You cannot budget 300,000 to execute the project. You need to have extra plus extra. So that is what it means. So extra with this, you're probably going to be talking another extra $50,000 on that. So that is what it means, or even more. So that is how to transition from a visitor to student. The second option, if you come in as a visitor, is to transition from a visitor to a worker. A lot of people are targeting this transitioning from a student to worker. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is very tough. It is extremely tough. A lot of people in Canada will not be sincere with you. They'll just lie to you, becoming. So when you get to Canada, you have plenty of job. Yes, in Canada, we have plenty of job. If you go to job bank, we have over 200,000 jobs being advertised. Over 200,000 jobs being advertised. They are looking for workers. But nonetheless, it is not as simple as it is being publicized. And that's why when people come to me, I always tell them the fact. You want to come to Canada as a visitor and you want to come and get a job. It's tough. It's like a camel through the eye of a needle. So now the first step in this process is to go and look for employer. Go look for Canadian employer. That's the first step. And as I've mentioned, you can look for employer by personally visiting their workplace. Oh, I think I can do this work for you. Or it can be through friend, through family. Or you go online to job bank or various websites and apply. Or you talk to a recruitment agency to help you look for job. So those are the steps of looking for that job. And also, you need to be very careful because a lot of fraudsters are out there. A lot of fraudulent people are out there. They will tell you they can get you a job in Canada, they take your money, and at the end of the day, they will not get that job for you. Or sometimes what they do, they will get you a visitor visa, and they will tell you, oh, be going to Canada, we've helped you. It's a lie. It's a lie. And you need to be very careful. If you can't do your immigration process yourself, only patronize a licensed consultant. I will share with you the link to get the licensed consultant, or you patronize an immigration lawyer in Canada. You have to be very careful. So, because when you patronize this type of people, there's a contract between both parties. So if they default, you have the power to challenge them. But if you use unlicensed person, which is a ghost agent, there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Because they are not even in the place to do anything for you. And typically, like Nigeria, our Nigeria case, when you say, oh, somebody help me with visa, or he fraud me, all those kind of a thing, or you get a fraudulent document for me, when you get to the police station, the police is not going to do anything. The police will just tell you, is it the right person to deal with? And if care is not even taken, the police can rope you into all this matter. So you have to be very careful. So do not deal with unlicensed people. So first thing when you are in Canada, you go and look for a job. So if the person says, I'm willing to give you the job, that employer must start the process of LMIA. So that is the second step. So before the employer can do the process of LMIA, the employer must advertise the job for 30 days. Advertise that job he wants to give to you for 30 days. The employer will have advertised that job for 30 days. Now, once you advertise the job, different people will apply. Then the employer will come down to the number of candidates he's looking for. Then once the employer comes down to the number of candidates he's looking for, he will now apply for the LMIA. LMIA means Labor Market Impact Assessment. So through Service Canada or ESDC, Economic Social Development Canada. So the employer will file an application for LMIA to them, and this LMIA could take as much as, depending, could take as much as 6 weeks. 6 weeks. LMI process, or even more. So depending if the employer has been recruiting before or not. So these are some of the things you have to understand. Imagine you advertise for 30 days, which is 1 month. The LMIA goes for almost 2 months. So 3 months. So if I'm an employer, to even get you your LMIA, it's going to take me about 3 months to complete the entire process. So that means I'm going to leave my business without capable hands. It's not possible now. Let's be sincere with ourselves. I'm not going to wait for anybody. No matter the skills you are bringing in for me, why will I wait for 3 months to get you all your documentation before you can apply for a work permit? So that is why this is a challenge. But if you look at the flip side of the whole thing, I have permanent residents in Canada. I have Canadian citizens that can offer the job that don't need to go through this stress Or I even have people with study permits that can give this job without going through LMIA. And so I would rather take my candidates from people that are already in Canada that have their papers than me going all out, spending like 3 months to get LMIA for a visitor. So, and this also, the employer will have to pay $1,000 to process the LMIA. $1,000. And also note that you cannot pay for this LMIA yourself. And you don't pay for employer, or you don't pay to anybody to get a job in Canada. It is unlawful, illegal to pay for anybody to get a job. So once they get the LMIA, you will now apply for your work permit. Please just give me 1 minute, please. I will come and attend to Victoria. I'm in a meeting. So sorry for that short interruption. So once you get your LMIA, you can now apply for your work permit. You can now apply for your work permit. And to apply for work permit, you can either do that online, or you go to the border to get a work permit. That's if your employer needs you urgently. Urgently. You go to the border and apply. And if you go to the border also have a lot of processes. The border has a lot of processes that you need to be very careful of. Because if you are not so confident and you go to the border, by the time the officer starts throwing questions at you, that might be, if you can't answer the question as he's posing the question to you, then that's going to be a problem. So you need to weigh your option. When you want to apply for your work permit, you can do it online. So what that means that if you do it online, you have to wait for another 2 to 4 months to get your work permit approved. About another 2 to 4 months to get your work permit approved. Imagine employers spent almost 3 months to get LMIA for you, plus your job offer, LMIA and your job offer for you. And you don't apply online, it takes another 2 to 4 months. So before your work permit gets to your hand, you'll probably be spending almost 6 months. And don't forget, as a visitor, you can't stay more than 6 months inside Canada. So what that means is that before your work permit arrives, you need to maintain your status inside Canada. You must maintain your status inside Canada. What does maintain status mean? It means you need to extend your stay as a visitor inside Canada. So you need to apply to extend your stay. So before the 6 months, like month 5, if you're inside Canada month 5, and you are still expecting your work permit, it's better you put in an application to state that I've applied for work and I'm still waiting. So I need to maintain my status. You need to put in an application called a visitor's record. Or while your LMIA is ongoing and your 6 months is about finishing, you can apply and state that you are waiting to get your LMIA and to apply for a work permit. That is why you are extending your stay inside Canada as a visitor by applying for a visitor's record. If you don't do this and you are out of status by second, because in Canada, we use what is called UTC, Universal Time, UTC. So if you're out of status by a second of that time, man, you're out of status. You're out of status. You have to depart Canada. You have to depart immediately. So that's why you don't wait for the 6 months before you put in your visitor's record, because you are waiting for a work permit to be successful or your LMIA to be successful. So you put the application in. In some cases, some people can restore their status. You'll be given 90 days to restore status. And that will include somebody who's a student or a work permit holder. But if you're a visitor, you can't restore status. You have to leave. You got to leave. So you're not restoring status as a visitor. So you have to be very careful. If you're in Canada as a visitor, your time is important. Even if you're in Canada as a temporary resident, time is a critical factor here. You should know where your visa is expiring, where your stay is expiring, and all those things. You must ask your consultant, or you must ensure you know when you need to exit Canada based on your program. So this is online. Online, imagine taking an employer almost 6 months or 7 months before I get that person to work for me. I'm not going to wait. No employer will wait for 7 months before you get your work permit. Let's be sincere with ourselves. That's why when you go to some of these employers, once you tell them you're a visitor, oh, they say, sorry, we can't help. So that is the problem. Because time to process your application takes more longer time. Some employers can accommodate it. Don't get me wrong. Some can accommodate it. But it's up to them if they feel they can accommodate that within their process. Now, if you go to the border, you go to the border, which is called flag polling. Flag polling. Again, this one, caution, 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 caution. Most people that can flag poll are people from visa exempt country. Those are people that can flag poll easily without so much stress at the border. But if you are not from a visa exempt country, you can still flag poll depending on the type of work permit you want to get. Not all work permit holder can flag poll. Not all. For example, if you're inside Canada and want as a spouse inside Canada, you are being sponsored through for example, you have a permanent resident that's your wife and is sponsoring you. You are inside Canada or for family sponsorship. You can't flag poll to get a work permit. You must apply online. You must apply online. So, sorry for that noise, it's my little girl. So, if you are flag polling, you have to be very, very careful. Because when you get there, the officer will ask you a series of questions. And if you cannot answer that questions, that is the problem. It means what? You got to leave Canada. So flag polling means you go to the border between US and Canada. So you go through US, and because you don't have authority to enter US official will ask you, what are you here to do? Oh, I'm here to flag poll. Then they will ask you a series of questions. They will take your passport, take your fingerprint, do everything, document you, and they will give you a letter that says you can't enter US, that you have to go back into Canada. So, and that is basically called administrative refusal. So once you are refused by the US, you have to come back into Canada. So you come back into Canada and show the letter to the officer at the Canada end. Oh, I'm here to get my work permit and I've been refused entry into the US. So I'd like to apply for study permit. The officer will ask you for your LMIA, we ask you for your job offer, then we ask if you've done medical, proof of your medicals, and some other documentation. Then question and answer begin. How do you get the job? Who is offering this job? You came into Canada as a visitor, then why do you want to change to work? Why do you want to change to a worker now? Series of questions. Series of questions. And if you are not so bold to give a good answer to those questions, that's going to be a problem. And also, don't forget your original intent. You told the officer when you applied that, oh, I'm coming to Canada as a visitor. So visitor overnight suddenly decides he wants to work. So why that? Equally, don't forget that there's a public policy that allows you to change from a visitor to a worker. So that public policy is there. But the officer will still want to question your original intent. So it is important. You have to be strong and bold if you want to go to the border to get your visa, or sorry, your work permit. So this is my topic on how to transition from a visitor to student or to a worker. So it's very clear now. Don't make that mistake. If anybody's telling you anything otherwise, it's a lie. So you come in as a visitor. You come in as a, so in summary, you are here as a visitor. Oh man, what's going on? So you are here as a visitor. You are here as a visitor. So these are your pathway to change your status. You can change to students, then you can change to worker. And I've told you the conditions for everything. So the first one here, the first condition is R215F or R21F subsection 3 of our immigration regulation. So that is the first condition as a visitor inside Canada that want to transition to student. So this one means you can apply from inside Canada. So that is the one that has prerequisites. The second one is you apply as if you're applying from outside of Canada. Study as if you're applying from outside of Canada. Although you are inside Canada, you can apply as if you're applying from outside of Canada by using the relevant form. So this second one, you need a job offer. You need a job offer plus LMIA. So these two, it's very important. So that is that. So that finishes our first topic, visitor transitioning to student or worker. That's to change your status inside of Canada. So the second one is, I'm a student inside Canada. So how can I transition? So student inside Canada, you will transition through this process. You will get what is called post-graduation work permit. Then from there, PR. That is your own steps to transition in Canada. So you came in as a student. The current event in Canada, and which I believe is a global thing. Inflation is rising globally. Cost of living is becoming so high. It is not only in Canada. In UK, it's happening. In Nigeria, it's happening. In the US, it's happening. So it's everywhere as we speak right now. So if you come to Canada as a student, you've rightly informed the officer you have the financial capacity to support yourself. Excuse me, do not do otherwise. Do not do otherwise. So push yourself, complete your program. Don't skip classes. Because when you skip classes or when you don't attend your studies, then transitioning is going to be extremely difficult. You can't transition because then you have contravened the regulation of the immigration. You have contravened R220 .1 of the immigration by not fully enrolled or continually studying inside Canada. You have contravened. So if you come in Canada, things is becoming more expensive. Please have your money. Have your money. So from there, when you finish your program, you will obtain your post-graduation work permit. You will get your post-graduation work permit. Then when you get your post-graduation work permit, what that means is that you will work in Canada for some time. So the post-graduation work permit length could be 1 year to 3 years, depending on your program. If your program is minimum of 8 months program, which sometimes is timed 1 year, you will get 1 year post-graduation work permit. If your program is 2 years, you will get 3 years post-graduation work permit. So this gives you the opportunity to work inside Canada. So once you work for that period, then you'll be able to transition through what is called Canadian Experience Class, through the Express Entry system. So depending on your score in the pool, when the government do the draw and your score is very high, they will pick you. Just like recently the draw is been so crazy in the pool. On this December 6th, the draw was 561, which is very high, extremely high. The following day, I think December 7th, they did another draw. That was 481. And that draw is for category based. That is still high for category based points. The last one, which was I think yesterday on the 8th, was the French stream, 470. And that's still high. So what that means is this. Canada is becoming highly competitive. It's becoming highly competitive. So you need to prepare if you want to transition inside Canada. And again, the government is going to be working on the condition for the post-graduation work permit. So when, we don't know, because they want to change the condition, because this program have not been assessed for the past 10 years in terms of the law. Just like the way they've changed study permits, living expense now. So they're going to be looking into post-graduation work permit as well. So when, we don't know, but guys should be expecting a lot of surprise. Canada, the dynamics of immigration in Canada is changing rapidly. That's why people need to have solid plan. If you are coming in as a student, choose the relevant program. Choose program that can allow you to transition easily. Today is not a topic for me to discuss how to choose the relevant or the right program. It's not my main focus. My main focus is you're already inside Canada as a student. You want to transition with peace of mind. This is the process to follow. And you must ensure you comply with the law. Compliance is very key. Compliance is very key. So compliance means you attend your classes, you complete your program, and you are fully enrolled in your program. See, I see a lot of these things a lot in Canada. A lot of students are facing challenges as we speak now. Why? Because they do more than the required hours when they are studying. Some of them skip classes, they don't attend classes regularly. Some of them even fail their program. Or some of them convert themselves to part-time students. I can tell you I deal with this every day. As in not once a week. Students call me every day. I'm in this problem. How can I resolve this? But sometimes when they come, it's quite late. There's nothing anybody can do. Even if you get the best lawyer, to be honest, there's practically nothing anybody can do. Because if I check your documentation and it's missing a lot of things, there's nothing I can do. Nothing anybody can do. So as an international student, compliance is what takes you to your final destination. And so those people that are studying 1-year program, to be honest with you, when you study a 1-year program, you have a post-graduation for 1 year. It is tough to transition. It is tough to transition. You'll be so desperate. Because 1 year of study, 1 year study gives you 1 year of post-graduation. Tell me, and the requirement for CEC is you must have 1 year work experience. Sometimes you might not get that experience quickly. You might not get that experience quickly because your experience for CEC must fall between tier 0 to tier 3. That's the experience that counts for CEC. Even for express entry, those are the experience that count. And if you don't have this type of experience, how do you transition? So again, as an international student, plan yourself. 1 year course is going to be very tight, except you are in certain province that can make you to transition quickly. For example, Manitoba. Manitoba, you can transition quickly if you are doing a 1 year program. And again, you need to have a plan. You must have a plan to make that work for you. It's not everybody that goes to Manitoba are able to transition quickly. So, or New Brunswick, for example. So you need to have a strategic plan for you to be able to transition. That's why it's always good to work with consultants or a legal practitioner in Canada that knows what they are doing. It's not every consultant that knows what they are doing or all lawyers that know what they're doing. So you need to work with somebody that knows what he or she is doing. And you need to ask them questions, so that you know that the person you are committing your future in their care, they are confident to help you. Or you can read yourself, just read yourself. And if you feel it's something you can work on yourself, this is the website. You feel, oh, I'm good. I'm very good at reading. I can do everything myself. So this is the official website of Canada government. So you can do it yourself. No problem. 100%. The government allows you to do it yourself. But in doing it yourself, ensure you understand all the lingua franca. You understand all the little exceptions. So that's my advice. So that is transition students inside Canada. As a student, I beg you, don't go and seek asylum. Because I'm going to be honest with you. You came into Canada and said you are here to study. Suddenly, you turn yourself to person that's seeking refuge. Then down the line, by the time you go for your hearing, it might be tough to win. It might be tough for you to win that case. So be careful. You are here to study. You are not here to seek refuge. So, but in some circumstance, a genuine student with intent in Canada that is getting sponsored from the parents overseas can fall, condition can arise. So, for example, let's assume you are a student in Canada and you can't pay your tuition because of the following factor. War in your country. War. Listen very well. I'm not saying you can't pay your tuition because you don't have money. You can't pay your tuition because the banking system in your country has collapsed. Like what happened in, is it Jordan or Lebanon some few years back, where the banking system collapsed. I'm not talking Nigeria. When Nigeria changed money, that bank system did not collapse in Nigeria. That is not the case. So banking system is not operational in that country anymore. Nobody can send money. You don't have access to money. Or there is war in your country. You are ravaged by war. Your parents can't send money to you. Nothing is happening. Or your sponsor, your main sponsor, the person that's sponsoring you, your parents, you don't have them anymore. Suddenly, you lost them. They died. So then you become what is called destitute student. Destitute student. Destitute student. Destitute. So you become destitute student. So if that is your case, again, let me repeat myself. War in your country. War. And that war is spread. Not that, for example, certain section of the country is having war. But where you are living, there is no war there. Or your people can have access. It's just like, let me give you instance. Like we have Boko Haram in the northern parts of Nigeria, which is not even war. It's insurgents. And you are not telling government of Canada that you can't get money. Your parents in Nigeria can't get money to sponsor your education. That doesn't count as war. For example, look at what's happening in Palestine, between Palestine and Israel. Let's assume a Palestinian in Canada studying here now. There's no way the parents can send money to Canada because Gaza Strip everywhere, war is going on right now in that place. So that person will qualify to be a destitute student because he cannot have money to pay his tuition anymore, his tuition anymore. So war in your home country, deaths of parents. So your parents are the one, your major financer of your education, and you don't have them anymore. Money is not coming from anybody. No support system anymore. So banking system collapse of banking system. Banking system collapse. Collapse of banking system. So these are now, listen, when all this happened to a particular student inside Canada, it means you don't have access to funds. You can't get money. So you now become a destitute student. If that is your case, all you need to do is to call immigration and tell them, this is my situation. The first thing you need to report to your school and say, this is my situation. Your school will document everything. International students of your school, arm of your school will document everything. They will give you a letter stating this is your position and this is your condition. You will then talk to immigration and say, there is no way I can continue my studies. There is widespread war in my country. No money coming from there. I've lost both parents. I don't have access to funds. Nobody can help me anymore. Banking system in my country collapsed. My parents cannot send funds to Canada anymore. Now, when you call immigration will tell you what to do. So they will give you the opportunity to apply for work and work for about 1 year, make some money, then you go back to your program. So rather than you, just out of blues, you came in as a student, you now declare yourself as person seeking asylum. No, that's not the way to do things. You need to critically evaluate your situation. Because when you apply, you told them you have money. So what has changed that make you want to seek refuge? It's very important because you are not here to take advantage of the system. Rather, you are here to better your life. And one way to do that is to do that by following the process, doing it legally. So somebody can become a destitute student because of all these things. If that happens to you, you need to report your international students arm of your school, then call immigration and explain your circumstance. They will tell you the form to fill and what to do. As soon as they approve that, then they will allow you to work for some time. Then the expectation is that you must go back to your study, because that's your key thing of being in Canada. So we've talked about study now. So the other part is you come into Canada as a worker. You are here, you come into Canada as a worker. So if you come into Canada as a worker, depending on your program, so you have the ability to transition to PR. Depending on the type of work you are doing, or the industry you are working in, you have the opportunity to transition to PR. Again, I'm going to use Nigeria as a reference case here. Back home in Nigeria, people always tell you that, oh, we can get you work in Canada. All those things. Excuse me. It's like a camel through the eye of a needle. It's extremely tough. Don't let anybody cajole you or lie to you. Or some even tell you, oh, Canada is looking for carpenter. Canada is looking for stylist. Canada is looking for mechanic. Please be careful. They tell you all sorts of things. See, this process is not as simple as ABC. So coming to Canada as a worker, I've talked about working in Canada. I've dwelled on it. So first and foremost, you need to look for employer inside Canada. Then you must go through interview with that employer. You must go through interview with the employer. If the employer feels, you must also have applied for the job. Because some people will send the job you did not apply to. You never apply for that job. Somebody is sending that job to you. That is potential red flag. You need to be very careful. So you need to look for employer, apply for the job, interview comes in. So you need to apply for that job, apply for the job. To the employer, you need to apply. Interview is done. After interview, if the employer is satisfied, the employer will go through the process of LMIA. I've talked about LMIA. LMIA, if approved, it can be negative or positive. Negative means they didn't approve. Positive means they approved. So if your LMIA is a positive one, positive LMIA. Good morning. So if you have positive LMIA plus a job offer, then you can apply for the work permit. So that is the process. And as I've mentioned to you, how can you get job? You can get job through going to jobbank.gc.ca. That's one place to look for job. You can look for job at workbc.ca. You can look for job with Government of Alberta on Alice of Government of Alberta. You can look for job there. You can look for job at SASC saxjobs.ca, that's Saskatchewan. Then you can look for job at glassdoor.ca. You can even look for job on LinkedIn. Some employer advertise on LinkedIn. So these are places you can look for job. Again, you must have applied to that job. You must go through the process of interview. Then your employer will apply for LMIA. If they get a positive LMIA, they give you that LMIA with your job offer. Then you can then apply for work permit outside of Canada. So this is the process. Anything that doesn't follow this process, be careful, red flag is there. This is the standard process. Then you will do your medical, and biometric. Once you submit your application, these two will be done. So if you don't follow this pattern I've just mentioned, then there's inherent red flag. So be careful, people out there in Nigeria or anywhere in the world. When they tell you, oh, we can get you a job offer from Canada, think twice. A lot of them, they are scammers, they fraud you, and this is the money you work for in your life. Don't sell your property because you want to come to Canada. You don't do that. You need to have the money to come to Canada. You need to have the money to process everything. So this is how to get work in Canada. So the last one I'm going to talk about is you have a sponsor. You have a sponsor. Sponsor I'm talking here is what is called family sponsorship. I'm talking about family sponsorship. And this family sponsorship I'm focusing on is sponsor means somebody that's a Canadian permanent resident or a Canadian that want to sponsor the spouse or dependent children or children. So sponsor in this case means, for example, you're inside Canada, you came in with a visitor visa, and your wife or your husband is in Canada as a permanent resident, and you are inside Canada as a visitor. You are here as a visitor. Okay. So what they can do to transition you is for them to sponsor you by submitting in Canada sponsorship application, family in Canada sponsorship application. Now, once they put in this application, then they should apply for work permit for you. So typically, this work permit is usually processed very fast. But before they can process this work permit for you, they must have received what is called acknowledgement of receipts from IRCC. So once they get the acknowledgement of receipt, they put in your work permit application, and you are good. So once you get your work permit, then you can start working. What I'm saying here is your wife. I'm not talking about girlfriend. I'm defining reference to wife, who is either Canadian PR or husband or not. I'm talking about husband or wife, not boyfriend and girlfriend. So permanent resident or Canadian citizen. Or if you are in Canada and you are in a common law relationship. Common law means you live together under the same roof for 12 months, continuous 12 months, and you have everything in common. For example, same address, you have joint accounts, everything is in common to both of you. You stay in the same place. Then this process will work for you. Here, we are not talking about arranged marriage. We are not talking of marriage, MOC, marriage of convenience. I'm not talking about marriage of convenience here. I'm talking of proper marriage, legally backed by either government of your home country or government of Canada. I'm not talking of marriage of convenience. I'm not saying, oh, because you're in Canada as a visitor, you now want to, because you are looking for paper, you want to arrange marriage. No, that's not what we are talking here. We are talking of genuine relationship, people that are really married. So I'm not talking about MOC. So let's have that at the back of our mind. So once you're in Canada as a visitor, then they can help you get work by sponsoring your application for permanent residency. Once they do the sponsorship application for you, then they can apply for work permit. You can't go to border to get this type of work permit. Don't try it. Do not try it. The AI is going to run into problem. So you need to apply online, and typically the process is very fast. You don't have problem or with the processing of this one. So that ends my discussion with us on how to transition from visitor to student to worker to permanent residency. So this is the process for you. So I can take questions from the floor. Let's go.
Hello, sir. Good morning, and thank you for
Fully.
sharing this with us. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Allison. My wife did a 1-year program, and she just finished yesterday. Our visa expires in March.
Okay.
So I heard you say we need to go for the PG, postgraduate work permit. Firstly, I have 3 questions. 1, would you recommend that we use an agent, or is something we can do ourselves? That's question 1. The second question.
Let's take it one by one. Let's take it one by one.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
All right, sir.
So you just finished your wife finished yesterday. Congrats.
Yes, sir. Yes, okay. Thank you, sir.
And it's a 1-year program.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. 1-year program. Great. So if you apply for post-graduation work permit now, you'll be given 1-year post-graduation work permit.
Okay. So, do we have to wait for the certificate before we apply, or immediately?
Yes. Before you can apply for post-graduation work permit, you must have letter of completion.
Okay.
This is mandatory. Then you need to get your transcript, your official transcript from the school before she can apply for the post-graduation work permit. These 2 is a requirement. And if she wants to work in the health sector, I will advise she have medicals as well.
Okay.
She must have completed medicals by the time you are submitting. Else, if you submit without medicals, they put condition that she can work in the health sector.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So now, again, before we go ahead, 1 year, you guys need to have a strong plan to transition. If it's 1 year, you got to have a strong plan. So be careful. It's tight. It's tight. That's my opinion. Then secondly, once your wife receives a letter of completion, she's no longer a student. She must stop work immediately. She can't continue working.
Okay.
If she continues working and she has not put in the post-graduation work permit, she has contravened the law.
Wow.
So you have to be very careful. So the rule is this. Once you receive a letter of completion, okay, let's assume she received a letter of completion today, and she has all her documents to submit the application with transcript, medical, everything she needed to complete the application with, and she submits today. She can continue working. She can continue working. But if she does not submit the application once she has a letter of completion, she must stop working until she puts in the application before she goes back to work.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Does she need the medical that you're talking about? Is it the medical she did before coming, or the one that she's been doing here? Because she's a nurse and she's been doing some job as PSW job.
Okay.
Is it those types of medical?
No, I will advise she go for a new immigration medical because she works in the healthcare space. So the first ones that they usually ask when she's doing her PSW are the local ones, not the immigration one. So she needs to go and do the immigration one proper, so that they will not put the condition that she can't work in their sector.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So go ahead. So I've clarified the first question now.
Yes. So the second one is, because of all these reasons, and my children and I were under her, and I just registered my business, like my business I have in Nigeria. I just incorporated the company here. Will that give me a chance for PRO or anything for us to stay back?
Okay, so you are inside Canada with what is called open work permit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a different dynamics entirely.
Okay.
As an open work permit holder, you can register business. Nothing stops from registering business. But
Yeah.
with the business you are doing meets the requirements of the immigration. So
Okay.
that is the question here. So
Okay.
not all business or not everything you are doing might qualify you for
Okay.
immigration. So
Mm.
what I can say is that your wife should be the one that should championing you guys transitioning.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So you can continue, but you must ensure you yourself keep complying with the law, yourself and your children.
Yes, sir.
Compliance simply means as your wife is transitioning, you guys are also transitioning.
Yes, sir.
You guys are not out of status. So you guys will be out of status in March.
Yes,
And
sir.
before that March, you need to ensure you put in an application to maintain your status. Before, I will even say by February, you must ensure you put in an application to maintain your status.
It's okay. And the kids, can they still continue to go to school now that she's done with the studies?
100% yes. Your kids can continue to go to school. 100% yes. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
And
That's it.
again, I will advise you, if your
Yes,
wife
sir.
is applying for post-graduation work permit,
Yes, sir.
warning. Again, I say warning.
Yes, sir.
Everybody should not apply at the same time with your wife. Do not do
Okay.
that. If you do
Okay.
that, they're going to refuse your application. They will refuse your application. The kid's own, they might approve, but
Yes.
yours will be refused because she doesn't. You don't meet the requirement of extension under her yet because she doesn't
Okay.
have job. She doesn't
Okay.
have job yet.
Okay.
Or as under the post-graduation work permit holder.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful. You have to be strategic. So as soon as she applies, but if as soon as she applies for a post-graduation work permit, typically now, again, depending on officer handling your application, it could be fast, it could be slow. I think the standard processing time I'm seeing now is about 8 weeks now. What I'm seeing now. Then if your wife is so desperate
Yes.
to continue working,
Yeah.
she can actually go to the border and get her post-graduation work permit. She can go to the border and get it. But as I've told you, to go, if you want to go to that border, you have to be a person that's strong, that knows how to answer questions. But in her own case, if she has been student all the while, not working more than the required hours, all those things, she can conveniently go to the border, get her post-graduation work permit. Then once she gets her work permit, then because she's already working, then she can now apply for you guys. So that you guys' process can be fast as well. So it depends on a lot of factors. That depends on you guys' plan. So my best advice would be talk to a consultant to pilot you through the entire process. And again, you can do it yourself. To be honest, you can do it yourself if you want to do it.
Okay. Because my plan was to register for another short course so that we can have enough time for anything.
Yes, that's the good strategy. It's not short course. It must be a course of minimum of 8 months.
Yes, exactly, sir.
So, yes, but you can apply for post-graduation work permits right away now. If you want to get another course, you have to suspend because post-graduation work permit is given once in a lifetime. But because of the current situation we're in Canada, so the government came up with a public policy that made them do extension for post-graduation work permit. It's just by chance. It's called public policy. But they've said they're not going to extend that public policy after December 31st. So they're not extending it. So you got to be very careful. 1-year program is always tough transitioning. If you guys can do 2 years, that makes sense. So it's fine.
It's okay, sir. Thank you so much. That'll be all.
Okay. So any other question?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, thank you very much for the section. It has been awesome and eye-opening. Yeah, I have a question. Is what if you're a student and then your wife came to join you, and then fortunately for you guys, before she could get a job, she got pregnant, and then you know. So does it have any effect? Yeah, and that I was not able to work because of the condition of the whole thing. It's her first pregnancy and all that. So when it comes to transitioning, does it have any implications also?
Okay,
But
who is the principal applicant? Who is there? Who is the main applicant?
the husband,
Husband. So the husband is just studying, right?
yes,
And your wife, which is the dependent, is now pregnant.
yes,
Okay, my brother, nothing, no effect, no effect. You that is the principal applicant, which is the student that everybody depend on, you are the one that must continually ensure everything is on track for the family. For
okay,
example, your wife is pregnant. Let me give you an instance. For example, your wife is pregnant. We thank God for that. She's pregnant. And you say, oh, because I'm a student, oh, I will stop school to take care of my wife that is pregnant. Oh my God, you can't do that. Not be the carry the belly. Your own is to face that book. Face that book. Focus on your academics. So your wife, she's gonna be fine. She just needs to be going for a medical checkup and all those things. Even she has the work permit, she's not be able to work. Nope, it doesn't affect. No problem. But you guys
okay,
must ensure you maintain your status throughout your stay in Canada. So that's it. So no
okay,
issues.
okay. You said something about like applying for postgraduate. That's that the principal applicant after has to apply first, then before the dependent. Maybe when he gets the postgraduate work permit
Mm-hmm.
and get a job or something before the
Mm-hmm.
dependent will not apply.
Correct.
So what will now be the status of the dependent since both of them, like the dependent visa will expire the day the work permit, study permit of the husband expires.
Okay. Okay. So your dependent is currently on work permits. Eh? Then you as a student, because this person depends on you. Let's assuming your study permit is expiring on January 30, 2024. So let's use date here. Okay. Technically, your wife work permit will also be expiring that same point. That is
Yes.
what the case we are looking here. In some cases, there might be different in date for these things. For example, if your dependent passport is has a shorter date, they will make it to the passport expiration. So let's look at this as the ID case.
Okay.
Students study permit expire 2024 January 30. Work permit for the wife expire 30 January 30, 2020. The rule is this: for your wife to transition along with you, once you've completed your studies, you need to get your own postgraduate work permit first, and be employed, and you are working. Again, the rule is apply for your own postgraduate work permit, be working. Then, once you are working, you can now apply for your wife work permit. That is the process. That is the process. But because your wife can't be out of status, if, for example, you apply and you are not working yet, no work, nothing, as a postgraduation work permit to that, you don't have work yet. So you can change your wife to visitor's record. So that will help her to maintain her status in Canada. Pending the time you have work, then you now apply for our own work permit. So the short answer is that you need to apply for a visitor's record for your wife, and that will make her to be in status inside Canada without stress. I hope
Visitors
that is
record.
clear. Yeah.
Like you are in Canada and you're applying for visitors visa, or it's a different thing.
It's not visitor's visa. It's not visitor's record. It's not
Okay.
visitor's visa. It's not so because that is how to maintain your status. And that's how she can maintain her status. She needs to get what is called visitor's record. So
Okay.
you apply to immigration. You just put a simple explanation. I've applied for my postgraduation work permit, And so that my wife, to maintain her status, that's why I'm applying for visitors record. They will approve your wife. They will approve because she needs to have status inside Canada. And ensure you do this before January 30. Before January 30.
Yeah, before the
Most of the
expiring
time,
date.
before the expiring date. I would say do this a week to the expiration.
Okay.
Because if you wait till the end of the expiration and you miss it by 1 second of UTC time, then that person is out of status. That person is out of status. So you have to be very careful. So typically I advise people put in the application like a week to your expiration, because there might be technical problem. There might be a lot of things. So to be safe, better to be safe. So this is what you do. So you do visitors record for your wife, then she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. Okay.
So my last question is, like, for example, now if she now gives birth in Canada like this, does he have also like giving birth to a Canadian? Does he have any effect on changing status too, like because of the child and all that?
Nope, does not have any effect. That child is a Canadian. He or she's going to be Canadian, which is fine, 100%, no issues about that. But that guy does not give you guys any status. So you guys have to fight for your own status. You guys have to transition yourself. It's only that child that is Canadian. So other member of the family will have to keep maintaining their status or try to transition their status to something permanent.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, any other question? Because I've got some questions online that I'm going to be taking. So, do you have any other questions? You guys should ask questions. Don't worry. No stupid question. Let's go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Okay. Thank you for this section. I just want to ask a question. I came in with work permit and I've been working for like 5 months now. When do you think is the right time for me to start processing my PRO, like maybe to enter the pool?
If you're eligible, go into the pool. You need to meet the program eligibility. So if you're eligible, go into the pool, not to stop from going to the pool.
If I'm eligible, sorry, I don't understand.
Yes.
Like,
okay, every program has eligibility requirements. Just like the way you got your work permit, you must have passed through some eligibility requirements. So to be inside the express entry pool, what's the eligibility? 1, you must have a post-secondary education. You must have completed your program, have your credentials assessment. That's the first condition.
Yes.
Number 2, you need to have work experience. That fall under tier 0, 1, 2, 3. So then you need to have your language tests. Those are three simple requirements. With those 3, you can go into the pool. Yeah.
Okay, for the work experience, for how long? Is it going to like 1 year work experience or
minimum of 1 year?
How long, sir?
Okay, depending. Minimum of 1 year work experience is what is required to be able to create an express entry profile.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What about provincial nominee?
Okay. So my advice to you will be to book a consultation so we can talk about this. So you need a proper legal advice, and I can't give answer to all this right away now here. Yes. So
sir.
If it's general question, yes, I'm going to take it. We are now going into more micro aspect of the immigration.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So let's ask question. So I'm going to
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good
go
morning.
ahead. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Sorry, I just joined and I really don't want you to start repeating what you said, but I would have loved to ask a question. I don't know if that's okay by you.
Go ahead. It's okay
Okay,
by me.
sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So I came in last week. My husband has been here for like 4 months, and he's currently undergoing a program for, I think, 8 months or 8 months or thereabout. Now, my question is, what are the ways? The plan we are having right now is for him to apply for a second program, because what we heard was that if he applied for a second program, probably another 8 months or 1 year program, he will be able to apply for 3 years postgraduate permit. So I just wanted to know, because the money is much for us to apply for a second program and all of that, is there any other way? Because if we say we should apply with this 8 months, we are going to get probably 1 year postgraduate work permit. So after them, what's the next step? What do we do and all of that?
Okay, I think you missed out. Your church is probably going to share the video. This question you've asked me, I've actually talked about it. I've given answer
sir.
in those videos.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. But nonetheless, as you have rightly mentioned it, 1 year program gives you 1 year post-graduation work permit.
Yes, sir.
And transitioning could be difficult with a 1 year program.
Yes, sir.
That is the truth. Let's be sincere with ourselves.
Okay.
Could be tough. So this would be my advice to most people in this shoe. To be honest, one simple solution I have for anybody in this type of situation is pick up French as additional language.
Okay.
What did I say? Pick up French as additional language. Because Canada immigration is going to be changing rapidly. If we have knowledge of French as additional language, you are at the vantage position.
Okay.
So if you guys don't have money for a second program, then what I would advise you to do is, while your husband is working,
yes,
if you pick up French, start learning French, and write the exam called TEF. This exam, this will help you guys, because immigration is dynamic and it's changing rapidly. Currently now, Government of Canada is looking at people that are bilingual. And if you can pick up, because for you to learn French, if you don't have money to do second program, it's quite cheap. It's way lot cheaper. But you just need to be dedicated. You need to be focused. And if you can get that in, this under the express entry can give you extra 72 points. If you have French as additional language at C1 in all your modules, C1 in all the modules, it will give you extra 72 points. And that is a whipping high score. And don't forget that under the express entry, the Government of Canada have the French stream. And also don't forget, Ontario as a province also have the French stream. Imagine Ontario, people that have French, I think this year, as low as 271 or so, 271. Because you have French as additional language, Ontario is giving you opportunity. So my advice would be, if you don't have money for a second program, then key into getting French as additional language. It's determination. You can make it. Register with Alliance Française in Ontario there, or where you are in your province. Join the French community. Be intentional. Put every effort into it. Then, if you need a French tutor, I can connect you to a French tutor as well. So that's it. So for the French tutor, I'm just going to share his number on this live stream. You guys, anybody that's interested in French can reach out to him. So I'm going to share his number in this live stream right away now.
So the French classes and everything is supposed to take place in that 1 year postgraduate permit we have taken.
Yes, you need to ensure you can make it under that 1 year. That 1 year, which I know is 100% visible. I know it's visible. So I'm going to share the French tutor number so you guys can reach out to him. His name is Yusuf. And he's based here in Canada. That is +1 587. So you can reach out to him on a French class. 832 then 0950. In fact, to be honest with you guys, anybody that is studying currently in Canada as a student, I will advise you guys pick up this French as additional language, because it will make life easier for you at the end of the day. Anybody in Canada that want to transition to PR and you have skill set back from your home country, anywhere you are coming from, key into French as additional language. French. Key into that. So for French also, you can check out Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone. This is a very good product. You can go online, check Rosetta Stone. It's a very good product. It will help you. It will help you. Then also, I have one friend in UK also. You can check out as well. It's called Alexa. Learning French. It's called Learning French. Learning French with Alexa. Not same Alexa, but her name is Alexa. So she's based in the UK. She's based in the United Kingdom. You can reach out to her as well. So if you can do this, be intentional. Have French as additional language. Aim C1 in all your modules. C1 in all your modules. Then transitioning through the French pathway becomes easier for you. So that'd be my advice. Particularly those of you that can't afford fee for the second program. Key into this. Be intentional, be determined, you're going to get results. So that's my advice. Okay. So this is my website, www.ksimmigration.com. This is the French guide. Rosetta Stone is also there to help you. Then learning French with Alexa. You can reach out to this person. She's in the UK. She's based in the UK as well. So any of this option could help. And again, you can register with Alliance Française of your province or the French community of your province, Alliance Française, so that you can also be learning about the language. Okay. So also you can follow my page on Instagram, my company page on Instagram at KSA Immigration. So I really share updates, news about different immigration programs in Canada. So follow us on Instagram at this handle. Then you can also follow my company page on Twitter as well. So you get a lot of updates from me. So let me go online and take some of the questions. So Rosetta Stone is double T. Rosetta is double T. Rosetta Stone. So Rosetta Stone is double T. Rosetta Stone is double T. Okay. So learning French with Alexa, correct. And that is Yusuf's number. I hope I'm correct with that number. Let me just check again. Okay, so that's correct. Okay, so let me just take questions here. My question is that I came in as a student in a private college studying PSW, and they aren't eligible for a post-graduation work permit. Please, what's my pathway to PR? So, to be honest, your pathway to PR is to go and look for, okay, it depends. Your pathway to PR is to look for job that is LMIA based so that you can get work permits. That is one option for you. That is one option. The second option is to critically assess your background. If I can assess your background to see your work experience, what you have back home, and the rest, then I can be able to recommend another option for you. But the immediate thing you can do now, if your program is not post-graduation work eligible, is to look for LMIA-based work permit. So go and look for job that's based on LMIA. That's one. Or get another program. Get a second program. Go through study again and attend program that will be post-graduation work eligible. So that would be my advice for you. So I have BSc back and Masters in Business Administration. So it's not just you have BSc or Masters back, but what sort of work experience do you have? So my advice would be you book a consultation. That'd be my advice. You got to book a consultation because this is not a personal question and I can't discuss that on this platform. So I mistakenly locked my GC key and the new one is refusing to link. Okay. If you can link. Again, send technical report. Send them a technical report that you could not link your previous application that was logged to the new one. So, and another reason you could not link is because if you are missing certain details of your previous application, you might not be able to link to the new one. So you need to go and look at details you fill for the form as at the time the old one was still alive. So those details is important for you to be able to link. For example, if you miss certain dates, for example, if you put in a study permit before and you miss the study date or completion date, you might not be able to link. So you need to go and check your previous documentation for you to be able to link. So I've shared my company website, which is ksaimmigration.com. So just go to my company website and book a consultation. Just to let you know, I'm working on caregiver program right now, planning to put in some application that's for the one that's going to be reopened in 2024. So I'm extremely going to be busy, and my calendar might be closed until January because I need to focus on the caregiver program. But I still have some of my calendars that are still open, so you can go ahead and still book. But if you can't get a slot, then that'll be a discussion for January, because we need to prioritize urgent matters right away in our practice. So if my calendar is still open, you can book a consultation, else, or we got to wait for January. So, okay. So if we don't have any questions anymore, we're gonna be calling it today. Yeah. So, but before I call it today, this will be my advice to you guys. So, if you want to do anything that has to do with Canada immigration, the first thing is this: your reference or primary source of information is this website. What did I say? Your primary source of information is this website. Please, your primary source of information is not YouTube. It's not social media. It's not influencers, because everybody is now Canada influencers. Excuse me. These guys are using you for bait. They are using it to click. You know, on YouTube, the more followers you have, the more followers they have, the more money they make, if you don't know. And they need to make things to be sensational to you. They come give you false hope of what is happening in Canada. And the more they have likes, the more money they make through advertisements on their page. YouTube gives them money. So you need to be very careful. The source of information is not influencer, it's not anybody. Your primary source is do your research yourself through this website I've just given to you, www.cic.gc.ca. Friends, family member are not a primary source of information. Don't say because my friend did it this way, I can also do it that way. No, it doesn't work that way with Canada immigration. So if you want to do anything yourself, social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook is not the primary source. A lot of people are out there, they are hawk. You know, when I say somebody are hawk, they are hawk. They just want to take your money. So be careful. This is the primary source. Then, number 2, reference is registered. Your second reference is registered immigration consultant, registered immigration consultant, or a lawyer in Canada. Registered immigration consultant or lawyer in Canada. Again, for this group of people, you need to check them out to ensure that they are currently active with their association. Currently active. So, for immigration consultant, this is the official website to check. I am talking to you today. you can check me out on this website, college-ic.ca. So if anybody comes to you and say, oh, I can do everything about Canada for you. Oh, I'm good. I've done it for people. Or somebody refers any other person to you. Excuse me, do your assignment here by visiting this website, college-ic.ca, to check if that person is genuinely licensed or that person can represent you. For example, this is my number on that website, R535675. So if anybody comes to you and say, oh, I can represent you when it comes to Canada matter, ask them for their RCIC number. So, oh, excuse me, I know you can help me. Please, can I have your RCIC number? Ah, sorry, I don't have RCIC number. Okay, you don't have RCIC number. Can you give me your full name? Can I have your full name? You can search by name or by number. So if you want to search me by my name, you just put in my last name, which is Kazim. That's my last name. Then you might see more than one Kazim, for example. Then you now need to check with this number, the person you are looking for. So for anybody that is registered as a Canadian immigration consultant, they must be on this list. If they are not on this list, do not use them. Do not use them. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the third advice I'm going to give to you is, when anybody is helping you with your application, anybody, I'm saying anybody whatsoever, anybody, they must be transparent with you. Transparency is key. What do I mean by transparency? Every document they want to submit on your behalf must be shared with you. All the documents they are submitting on your behalf, they must share it with you. They must share it. Every document must be shared. All the immigration form to be submitted for you must be shared with you. In fact, the best thing is you must complete your immigration form yourself. For example, if you hire me today, I will not be the one to complete immigration form for you. You to fill it yourself. When you fill it, you send it to me. I will cross-check to see that everything is fine. I will ask you some important questions about inadmissibility. I will ask you questions about criminality, just to ensure the questions that fit correct, the forms are fit correctly. So once I check and everything is fine, then I will submit your application. All the documents you share with me, or any document I'm putting in on your behalf, I must share it with you. Then the last thing I'm going to share here is number 4. How to identify that somebody you are dealing with is a fraudster or is not genuine. That's the fourth thing I'm going to share. Fraudster or not the right person, not right person. Okay, is when they tell you, oh, we can help you to do your Canada immigration, but we will create accounts for you, and you will be the one that will be managing the account. So what they will typically do, they will create an email and create an account for you. And they will now say, oh, you should be the one to be managing it yourself. That is the fraudster. That is not the way it is done. Your account must be created by you if you want to do the application yourself. You need to create your account yourself, and you must not share your password with anybody. If anybody is asking to share your password with them, decline, because that is your life. You can't share your password with anybody, or somebody cannot create an account for you, have access to the password and say, oh, be running the account yourself. That is a fraud. You have to be very careful, because anything can happen along with your application. And if it happens, you have to face the penalty squarely when it comes to immigration. Do not share your password with anybody. Or if somebody says, oh, I will create accounts for you and I will send the password to you and username, you continue doing it yourself. That is a fraud. If you are working with a licensed consultant, typically they will we have our paid accounts that we have with Government of Canada. Every application I submit on that account, I have multiple clients on it. I will not share that account with you because everything I'm doing it on your behalf. So all communication is going to be coming to me from IRCC. Then I will deliver that information to you. That is the process. Consultants communicate to IRCC through their own portal, not through your own portal. Through their own portal. Then any information they get, they will relay it to you. And also, you must have contracts with anybody you are dealing with. If you do not have contracts with them, that person is the fraudster. That person is the fraudster. So if anybody say I can represent you, tell me, okay, can I have my contract? Okay, I'm going to pay you. This is my proof of my payment. Can I have my receipt? All those things. Everything has to be transparent. You need to see everything. But if you say, oh, don't worry, you don't need the contract, we will do it for you. Oh, we've been doing it for the past 10 years. Excuse me, you are fraudster. Because the problem is this. This type of thing can lead to what is called misrepresentation. Misrep. If IRCC should find out that you are using somebody that is not licensed, they find out. And you did not disclose in your application you are using somebody, they know how to find out. It's a 5 years ban automatically for you because you are using somebody, either licensed or not licensed, but it is not disclosed. That is a misrep. So you've got to be very careful. In all your process, number one, you can do it yourself if you feel you want to do it, no qualms. You can reach out to a consultant to help you or a lawyer to help you. And if you are using any one of them, they must be active member of the association in Canada. So this is how to guide yourself and to prevent any untouched story. So that is it. So okay, somebody just asked me a question, and this is going to be the last question I'm going to be taking. So I've got you here. Can I call IRCC to recover my account if the agent that freely doesn't remember the date? So this is what I've just explained now. Why will you use an agent? Why do you use agent? See, there's a difference between agent and consultant. Agent cannot represent you with Government of Canada. But a licensed immigration consultant can represent you. So if your agent does not remember the date, so the fault is from you, not because in the first place, you're not meant to use agents. Agents cannot represent you with Government of Canada. People that can represent you is regulated Canadian immigration consultants. A practicing lawyer in Canada can represent you. Those are people that can represent you, that you pay to. Unpaid representation can be your family member. Unpaid representation. Your friend, unpaid representation. You do not pay those people to represent you. So this is what you can do. Order for your dossier from IRCC. Order your dossier. You'll be able to see everything that's submitted on your behalf. Everything submitted on your behalf. You will see it when you reorder that dossier. You'll be able to get that date. So what you need to do is to order your dossier through what is called ATIP. Then you'll be able to get that date. Then you'll be able to recover all those things from that agent. Everything. So what can I do if someone defaults in a visa deal with you in your home country and escape to Canada? How can I take up the matter against the person? Okay, simple. You can report to RCMP in Canada. If the person is in Canada, report to RCMP. You can also call immigration and report immigration fraud. Call immigration. They have a dedicated line. You can call them and say, oh, this person, I paid to this person fraud me, and it's right on this soil in Canada. You can call them, give them the details. You can write RCMP. So how to report immigration fraud? It's very simple. Report immigration fraud to RCMP. You can report to IRCC by calling. They have a dedicated line to report immigration fraud. If you have details about the person, this YouTube channel will be very, very place to reach out to. And so I can show you how to do the reporting. I'll share it with you guys now. So what can I do if someone defaults? So I've dealt with that one. What can you do if someone defaults? I've answered that. So you can report straight away. There are several agencies and companies now that are claiming they are able to support express express entry application with LMIA. What are your thoughts? Again, be careful. The majority of them are scam. Majority of them are scam. And you do not pay for LMIA. You do not pay for job offer. You do not pay. If anybody is asking to come and pay, they raise alarm. The only thing you pay for, the employer is the one to pay for LMIA. The only thing you pay for is your work permit application processing fee if you are using a consultant. Every other thing you don't pay for it, or you can do it yourself. So if anybody is telling you to bring money, they can help you with LMIA to support your PR application. My brother, my sister, you should run. You are not meant to pay money. You're not meant to pay anything to anybody. Still, as I've told you, Canada is now, everybody's using Canada to trend. Everybody. They know, they have information, they don't have information. Ring light is there. They buy ring light, they start talking. They start talking about Canada because they want to be relevant. All influencers now, they don't have strategy to do what they are doing anymore. They want to be influencer. They want to continue to be an influencer. They do all these things. Please be careful. You can do all these things yourself if you want to. But if you find it difficult to do, reach out to a licensed person and ask questions before you pass away with your money. So be careful. So how can I reach you for consultation? I've mentioned that. My website is www.ksimmigration.com. So you can reach me out there and book a consultation. So let me give you guys the last thing I'm going to be sharing in the next 30 minutes before we call it today. So I'm going to share my screen now again. All these things you guys are asking me is very simple. And that is why you guys need to read. You guys need to do research. So just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to do something here now. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Stop these. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Okay, my screen is shared now. So let's do this. Somebody fraud you, okay, immigration. So just do a simple Google search and type in how to report immigration fraud in Canada. You see? Simple. Can you see? This came up. Protect yourself from immigration fraud. A lot of information is out there through IRCC, but people refuse to go online to read. So, can you see? You are an international student who is a victim of fraud. How to report? You are suspicious. So, you get a suspicion phone call, text message, and email. How to report? You think your visa document is fake. How to report? Can you see? Everything is online. Everything is online. So I'm going to share this now. You see, report immigration from if you're outside of Canada. This is how to do that. Everything is there. This is the email you can communicate to. The email is there. Everything. So I'm going to share this on the Zoom now. So this is how to report. How to report. How to report. So that's that. If you're inside Canada, walk up to the police station and complain, lodge a complaint, give information about the person, everything that transpired. Then but you need to keep following up on your case. You must keep following up. If you don't follow up, then you will not get results. So if somebody collected the money to use as proof of funds, you are back in Nigeria, somebody's in Canada, collected money from you, they use it as proof of fund that your money was not returned to you, report through this channel, complain through this channel. So you see, you have the weapon in your hand to report immigration fraud. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of anybody. It's your money. You work for it. Report. See, if you report, it saves a lot of people. For example, let me give you an example. My brand was targeted in Nigeria. My brand was targeted in Nigeria. Somebody was using my name, my picture, my brand to fraud people in Nigeria. We are on that case as we speak right now. And Nigerian police, of course, they've not been helping. It's been struggle. I'm in pain as I'm speaking to you. But nonetheless, it's fine. It's fine. But of course, I've reported, everything is ongoing. Hopefully we get results soon. So what I'm telling you guys is this: report. Like, okay, the person that was a victim that reported to me, when I called this guy, I called the guy up. Okay, go and report to Nigerian police. The guy said, I can't report. I don't want to report because I don't want my name to be mentioned. And this guy continued frauding other people. But because people, you guys back home, don't speak up, you don't speak out. Or here in Canada, you guys don't speak out. That's why these people are getting free day. Because if we don't report them, they continue to do it to other people. So please speak up, don't be afraid. They can't do anything to you. They can't do anything. It's your money, except if your money, the money you will pay them, it's also stolen. Or you did not work for that money. That's why you keep your mouth shut. But if it's your hard-earned money, report any immigration fraud. So that's how to report. I've shown you how to report. So another thing. Go call higher. So another thing I want to also show to you. We've talked about immigration fraud, report it. So how to know if the person is licensed. So this is the website to know if somebody is licensed. Before you use anybody, please come to this website and check. This is the website to check if somebody is licensed. For example, let me use myself as an example. Oh, you see how to make a complaint. Verify your immigration consultant. You go to find an immigration consultant. So this is a public register. So for example, I told you my name is Kazim. My last name is Kazim, K-A-Z-E. So I put that in, and you do a simple search. See, my name comes up. And now this is my number. Then, if you want to do more findings to know my email and my phone number, just click on contact. Can you see? It shows I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. This is my company's name. And you want to see my email and my phone number, just click contact. So it's loading. That's going to come up. So this is how to do your findings before you part away with your money. So I think the portal is a bit slow. So it will display my email and my phone number. Can you see? This is my phone number, my official phone number. We only have one official phone number. We don't have any other number. This is only the official number we have. Also, we do not have any affiliation with anybody in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. Also, we do not have any office in Lagos, Nigeria, or anywhere in Nigeria. So if anybody comes to you and say, oh, I represent KSA in Nigeria, it's a fraud and it's a lie. So that's why you guys need to be careful of social media. This is my company email. So this is how to do your due diligence. So if, for example, you are working with anybody, all you need to do is just put their name here and check if they are licensed or if anybody said they can help you. So that's how to do it. So I'm going to share this also now with you on this live stream. So we've talked about how to report immigration fraud. So we've talked about that, and this is also that. So the last thing I'm going to share, for those of you that want to do things yourself, I'm afraid you can read very well. So this is the simple website you go to, canada.ca. With canada.ca, you can check a lot of things about Canada, ranging from healthcare, benefits, housing needs, everything is here. Finance. So what concerns you is immigration. For example, your health. If your health is what concerns you, tax, CRA. So this is everything about Canada. So this is where you get it from. So immigration, click on this, take you to the immigration website. That is it. And you can see protect yourself from fraud. Protect yourself from immigration fraud. So I'm also going to share this now. So, so that is it. That is it. That is it, everybody. So I've been able to educate you on how to change your status in Canada, how to identify immigration fraud, how to report immigration fraud, and also, if you need our service, how you can reach out to us. So it's a pleasure having you with me this morning. And so that's it for today. Yeah, Fure, do you want to say something? Fure.
Okay, yeah, so I want to just say thank you very much, sir, for this great session you've had with us. I will want to say a big thank you to you for taking out your time to enlighten us on all these things. We say thank you very much. Most times when people ask me the questions, I try to say, I thought I'm a pastor. It's pastor work I'm doing, not immigration. So, but thank you for using this opportunity to at least tell everyone what's happening. So I think for further consultation, they will get to meet with you directly on the site. So thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you.
Yes, Fure, before you go, you made mention of something. You're a pastor. Thank you for your leadership and everything, and for doing the God's work. So I sincerely appreciate that. One thing I want us to have at the back of our mind is this: your pastor, your imam, or let me say, religious organization in Canada, their duty is to shepherd us. Their duty is not to do anything with immigration. A lot of people come into Canada thinking my pastor or my imam or my afa in Canada can help me. That is not the job. They don't know anything about immigration. They can't help you with immigration papers. They are to shepherd us and teach us the word of God. That is what they are called to do. So if you have the mind that, oh, my church can help me to transition, no. The honor is upon you. If you're in Canada, either as a visitor or as a student or as a worker, to find a way of transitioning yourself. Talk to consultants, talk to lawyers, and work with somebody that can be honest with you, that can be transparent, that will tell you exactly what is happening, not what you want to hear. Because a lot of people come to us thinking we can cut corners or bend things for them. In my practice, I don't do it. And anybody that is ethical in this profession will not do that. But if anybody is asking you for money before they can help you to transition, to get you work permit, to do all these things that you need to pay for LMIA, you need to do this before they can do immigration for you, please report them. They are not meant to do that. You must pay for their professional fee. I'm not talking if they charge you for professional fee. And if they want to charge you for professional fee, it must not be outrageous. For example, if somebody is telling you, for me to get your LMI and work permit, go and bring $30,000. That person is a fraudster. That person is a fraudster. Nobody should charge you $30,000, $20,000 for LMIA and work permit inside this Canada. If anybody is asking for such big money, report to immigration. Please, let's help Canada. Let's help everybody. What we are going through, why Canada is changing, or most countries are changing their immigration policy, is because people are abusing the system. And people are also collaborators to others. Please don't let's join them. See, you can get somebody in this Canada that can give you honest work without asking money from you, that will do everything for you. If you have the relevant skills, you get job. But if you don't have the relevant skills, what you need to do is to go back to school and upgrade your skill. Or go and learn something to upgrade your skills that can make you to be competitive. Then you get the job. For example, let me tell you one of the areas in demand in Canada now, the construction industry. There's high needs for workers in that industry. You can start as a construction helper. Construction helper, but go to all those places where they are doing construction. Please don't be ashamed. You want to become somebody in Canada. You can beginning. Let me give you an instance. I came into Canada 2015. I started from Walmart when I came in 2015. But here I am today. I have people working for me. I can employ my business can employ more people. I started from where little beginning. Don't let's be ashamed. There is dignity in labor in Canada. Don't join those people that want to cut corners. You're not going to get to anywhere. Immigration will always be waiting for you. By the time you want to transition, if you cut corner, it's going to come up. So thank you a lot. Fure, thanks for bringing this up. And I sincerely appreciate everybody for joining. So let's do everything in a transparent manner, follow the due process, then God will crown our effort.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, just that to put up the church flyers, invite people to our services. As in mandatory, I wish at the beginning. And they said we'll do it again.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So let me see this opportunity to invite us for a service. If you're in Toronto, around the GTA, you can meet us at 55 Woodbine Downs Boulevard in Etobicoke. That's where we presently meet. So you can get us to visit us if you're in Toronto. We also have a branch in Kitchener, 1504 King Street in Kitchener, and also in Winnipeg. And it's a city close to you. So just reach out and we can be of help to you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Angela, Kings, Morax, Dr. Prince, Toivo, and every other one. God bless you. Bye-bye.